Hello, it is Sara Waggle, astrologer and leadership coach here for this Moon Astrology Tarot. But first of all, happy summer solstice, as this moon in Sag will ring in the sun in Cancer and the summer solstice. Some people say this is their least favorite day of the year because it gets darker after this point. I kind of agree with that. But nonetheless, it's summer, it's ice cream season, it's iced tea season. I'm not a fan of sweet tea. I think it's absurd, but whatever. If that's your jam, that's your jam. But it's summer fest if you live in the city, and fairs if you live in small towns, and farming season and fresh fruits and vegetable season and all of the things. And this moon in Sag is going to, of course, aspect the Jupiter in Gemini. It's going to aspect the Pisces stuff, Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. And that aspect will occur kind of as the sun is moving into Cancer, so the summer solstice. But Sagittarius is about our belief systems, and it's going to oppose Jupiter, which is its ruler, in Gemini. So it's like communicating. I feel like there's a lot of just speaking your freaking truth. You've probably seen me do that a bit more lately. And being a little less fearful about saying how you feel about shit, or about events, and who you want to be, who you are, who you know yourself to be, and all of the things. Maybe it's taking a stand for yourself and not needing permission to be yourself, and all of that. And so as we move into this summer, I think as we are letting go of like old relationships with the South Node in Libra and that North Node in Aries, it's really important to be in integrity with yourself and be authentic with who you are. Having been through like nothing but crappy relationships my entire life, and wanting a new relationship and a whole new vibe, like it's required this part of me to come up and out, right? And just to be real with who I am, and to be a real person, right? And not try to like fit in or whatever. And as I have moved around and now I'm, sort of stationary for the moment. But one thing I've noticed is that I don't fit in with a lot of groups of people. The advantage of living in the city was that if I didn't fit in with one group of people, there was a whole other group of people I could go be a part of. The disadvantage of a small town is there's usually the group of people that, are the town, and then, the other people who sort of don't get involved in anything because that group kind of takes over. And so it can feel kind of like rejection, right? When you're thinking that when you feel like you don't fit in. But I go back to something that one of my coaches told me along the way, which was that you're not meant to fit in, you're meant to belong. And there's a difference between fitting in and belonging. When you belong with a group, and I've said this so many times lately, like, you bring your skills to the table, you bring your talents to the table, and whatnot. And I feel like as we, step into this summer, this Cancer season, and even this time and space, it's really just be yourself. Don't be afraid to be yourself. Don't be afraid to say no when you need to say no, when you're like, I'm tired, I need to go rest, I'm tired, or I'm hungry, those sorts of things. That self-care and knowing when you need to be cared for, and acknowledging that. I think that's part of our truth, right? We've all kind of grown up in a conditioned era of hyper independence or ultra independence, and feeling like we have to do all of the things to care for ourselves versus asking for support when we need it, and asking, or even employing, whether it's a massage, going to get a massage, or going to get your nails done, or getting your hair done, or, getting a ride to the store because you know what, you just got to go back, I mean, right? Like something as simple as like going to the store. I occasionally get a ride to the store because I don't feel like crossing the street. And that's a whole other conversation. But I will also say sometimes I get a ride to the store because I have to bring home something heavy, or whatever, so that I can't carry or would be not so comfortable for me to carry home, even if it's only a couple of blocks, But it's those sorts of things where it's like, feeling into having permission to ask that you be cared for, being supported. And so there's a lot of like shifting in our beliefs around all kinds of levels of being conditioned, whether it is your self-care beliefs or, broader speaking, your broader beliefs about whatever, the events going on in the world, right? There's also your beliefs of being responsible or taking on other people's problems. If you're a significantly empathic person, you feel other people's stuff. And sometimes that's good if that's your career and that's what you do and you know how to properly cleanse your energy and whatnot. But if you don't and you still take on other people's stuff, but you don't properly cleanse your energy, guess what, kids? That shit just gets all glunked up in your system and creates all kinds of energy blocks in your chakras. And then you're sitting there wondering, well, how come I haven't been able to do XYZ for myself? It's because you're taking on all of the shit from other people, but you're not cleansing or releasing or getting rid of that energy of other people. So there's a lot of different dynamic here with this astrology right now. I feel like if you are someone who is extra sensitive to taking on other people's stuff, it's definitely an opportunity to practice high amounts of self-care and learning how to not let other people's stuff get to you, knowing and understanding um, how to cleanse your energetic body or your energetic space of other people's problems, right? It's okay to be the listener and be the support person, but learning how to then cleanse yourself of that so that you don't get derailed from your own mission, but can go back in and focus on your mission. And sometimes that may require a nap, I'll admit, but there are other ways too of cleansing your energy, whether that is listening to the right kind of music. And by that, I mean, you want to be attentive to what frequency the music is, because some music has a really off-putting frequency. You want to be attentive to maybe like saging or having some sort of meditation between dealings with people or after dealing with certain people. Anyway, so I feel like because we have all of this 29-degree Neptunian energy, and now we've got the sun coming into Cancer, and, a double Capricorn full moon through this Cancer season, start practicing, really disciplining yourself into practicing self-care and what it really means to you to self-care. It's not always about getting a massage, getting your nails done, blah, 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 blah. Sometimes it's being disciplined enough to reset your energy when you need to. So anyway, so happy summer. It's gonna be a ride, as I'm sure you already know if you've been following me for a minute. Um, you know, this is gonna be, it's gonna be, there's just, I don't know what I want to say. So I'm gonna let the tarot speak for me. See what, come on, there we go. Yeah, Queen of Starships in reverse. Well, I couldn't have said it better if I tried, because I just did. It's mismanaging your emotions. It's mismanaging your energy. It's, when you take on too much of other people's shit or anyone else's problems that don't, I think of like the people who stir the drama cauldron, right? And you may not be doing that consciously, you may be doing it very subconsciously. Um, but just you take response, Cancer can be very nurturing to a fault, right? Cancer is one of those that it's maternal and it's nurturing, but it's like if you're nurturing everyone else and you're supporting everyone else, but you're not giving yourself the time and space to move through your own stuff, your own emotions, and also learning how to not take on other people's problems. People can come to you with their stuff, but that doesn't mean that you have to be like, well, how can I solve this for her? How can I solve that for him? No, that is not your responsibility. So there is a level of definitely some, you know, space here or opportunity here to really feel into. You can be the listener, you can be the ear, you can be the sounding board, but you don't have to be the one to create the solution, right? Um, because what happens is when you take on other people's stuff, then your emotions aren't really yours because you're just so it's kind of like um before I learned how to manage my chakras, learned how to manage my energy, like I would literally be drained from like, how do I solve all of the world's problems, right? Whether that was in the disability community, the blindness community, or just in general, like, how do I solve all the world's problems, right? Whereas it's not my responsibility to solve the world's problems. It's my responsibility to take care of me and let my energy radiate into the rest of the world. But it took me learning techniques to implement so that I can be with other people or be around other people. Because admittedly, during the first parts of your weight, if you're going through an ascension or an awakening journey, you're probably like, I don't want to be around anybody. Right. I totally get that. But in order to be able to do that, you've got to learn what tools and techniques work for you to get their energy to go away. Now, I could give you suggestions, but as I'm writing my book about this, not only, in the book, I'm like, okay, I can give you suggestions, but it's so personal because I may function like I am a visual person. I visualize things, whereas you may need music. You may need to tactily touch something, right? To let go of your energy. Or maybe you need to go take a run, or you know what I'm saying? Like we all function differently. We're all energetically and chemically different. So it makes a difference. But I feel like that Queen of Starships, Queen of Cups, in reverse is kind of that reminder that like when you feel emotionally unstable, check in to see what you're actually feeling. Where in your physical being are you actually feeling that energy? Because it may not even be yours, and you can just be like, oh, it's not even mine. Okay, well, bye. you know? So anyway, this could be a very self-centered Cancer season, or certainly this Sag moon could feel very self-centered, and that's kind of okay. It's very foggy time. And so people may be coming out as not as they seem, or who you thought they were, or something like that. So let's see what's up with the ancient feminine wisdom. Um, uh, we got Nike victory. Oh, well, clearly there's some room for some self-celebration. Maybe you're like having a moment of like, yes, for once I didn't like, you can celebrate many, many times a day, right? You can celebrate every little thing. And maybe you celebrate by having an extra scoop of ice cream. I'll just use like summer things, but maybe you celebrate by spending extra time outside, or maybe you celebrate by um, doing some moon gazing, or you celebrate by, investing in some fresh fruits and vegetables, or you celebrate by buying some new walking shoes for the summertime to get in those extra miles. Like that can be a celebration, right? So I love this because it does give us a bit of encouragement during a time when maybe it doesn't feel very encouraging. It feels very foggy and to be honest, I feel like a lot of people may be going through some gloom and doom. And I don't think this is a gloom and doom time, but I feel like for some it may be, and it may feel that way. It may feel very heavy and hefty. But I think, if you're moving through something that you're like, fuck, I've been through this before. Why do I fucking have to go through this shit again? Remember that you're in a different place now than you were the last time you went through it. You're not the same person. And so you can celebrate that. Like, oh, that happened. And yes, I was upset. And yes, I got pissed, but it didn't derail my whole day or my whole week or whatever. I just had like a moment where I was just like pissed and rah, 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 but now it's over. I'm good. I'm good. I got it out of my system. I moved it through. And now I can get back to work. I can get back to writing. I can get back to reading. I can get back to, playing, whatever it is you're up to, right? And so that can be a victory, and that can be a place to celebrate. So anyway, happy summer. I think it's going to be a wild ass ride, but honestly, as much as I know a lot of people are moving through a lot of difficult shit, what I will say, having been through my own difficult shit multiple times in life, is that remember that number one, God doesn't give you something you can't get through. Number two, if you're alive and a functioning human right now, fucking congratulate yourself, because this has been the wildest, weirdest, most fucked up 4 years. And it's going to be the rest of this decade is going to be wild and wicked. And in 2030, when you're all still here, subscribe to my YouTube, provided YouTube is still a thing. In 2030, we can all look back and be like, we survived that shit. Like, we will get to celebrate the motherfuck out of ourselves. But we get to do that right here, right now, that we are alive, well, a functioning human. Damn, we're doing good. We're doing good, right? And if you have taken a stand for something over the last 4 years, and the veil is being lifted around that something that you stood for over the last 4, good for you. I'm proud of you. I'm fucking proud of you, because I know how hard it was. I stood for it too. And I lost a lot of people for it, and I'm good, because now on the other side of that, my level of self-acceptance is like, so it's through the roof, right? I know who I am, and I know I know mostly where I'm going, but God's got his own like twists and turns and all that shit. So anyway, all right. Have a good one. Happy summer. Enjoy it. Enjoy the sunshine. Enjoy the fests. Enjoy the ice cream and all of the things that come with summer in whatever area of the world that you are in. If you happen to be south of the equator and you are celebrating the winter solstice, then I hope you enjoy whatever winter activities come your way during winter time. So have a good one. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.